The Industrial Revolution, which took place from the 18th to 19th centuries CE, was a period during which predominantly agrarian, rural societies in Europe and America became industrial and urban. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, manufacturing was done in people's homes using hand tools or basic machines. Industrialization marked a shift to powered, special purpose machinery, factories, and mass production. The iron and textile industries, along with the development of the steam engine, played central roles in the Industrial Revolution, which also saw improved systems of transportation, communication, and banking. While industrialization brought about an increased volume and variety of manufactured goods and an improved standard of living for some, it also resulted in often grim employment and living conditions for the poor and working classes. Q1. In document 1, the author states, quote, "The Industrial Revolution was a period during which predominantly agrarian, rural societies in Europe and America became industrial and urban. What is the meaning of the word agrarian in this context? A. Mechanical. B. Agricultural. C. Small. D. Overly populated." Q1, Part 2. Which evidence below provides the best context for determining the meaning of agrarian? Select one answer below. A. Rural societies in Europe and America became industrial and urban. B. Industrialization marked a shift to powered, special purpose machinery. C. While industrialization brought about an increased volume and variety of manufactured goods. D. The iron and textile industries, along with the development of the steam engine. Document 2. England has been fortunate in possessing the natural conditions necessary to success. We recognize that England is rich in these advantages, that she has coal and iron lying close together, that her sheep give the best wool, that her harbors are plentiful, that she is not ill off for rivers, and that no part of the country is farther than 70 miles from the sea. Q2. What is the main purpose of document 2? A. To describe the geography of England. B. To express why England is a powerful country. C. To describe why Great Britain was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. D. To explain why the Industrial Revolution began in many countries in Europe at the same time. Document 3. Q3. What is the central idea of the map to the left? A. England's heavily populated cities and many coal fields contributed to the start of the Industrial Revolution. B. England is an island between the North Sea and the English Channel. C. England had many cities with over 300,000 people in 1830. D. Many cities in England were located near coal fields. Document 4. Output of coal and lignite. Selected countries, annual averages in million metric tons. Q4. What is the main purpose of the chart above? A. To illustrate, show the average output of coal and lignite for 6 major European nations from 1820 to 1900. B. To illustrate the powerful militaries of 6 European nations from 1820 to 1900. C. To illustrate how France and Germany averaged more coal than other European nations. D. To illustrate the amount of coal needed to run factories in Europe from 1820 to 1900. Q4, Part 2. Which of the following statements is true based on the chart above? A. Russia produced more coal than Belgium and Austria between 1820 and 1900. B. The United Kingdom, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales was the leading producer of coal and lignite in Europe between 1820 and 1900. C. Germany was the second largest producer of coal and lignite after Austria. D. The United Kingdom produced roughly the same amount of coal and lignite as France between 1820 and 1900. Document 5. Excerpt from Lecture 17, The Origins of the Industrial Revolution in England, Steve Creese, an American historian, published in 2001. England's agricultural revolution came as a result of increased attention to fertilizers, the adoption of new crops and farming technologies, and the enclosure movement. In the end, the open field system of crop rotation was an obstacle to increased agricultural productivity. The solution was to enclose the land, and this meant enclosing entire villages. Landlords knew that the peasants would not give up their land voluntarily, so they appealed by petition to Parliament. Between 1750 and 1760, more than 150 acts were passed, and between 1800 and 1810, Parliament passed more than 900 acts of enclosure. While enclosure ultimately contributed to an increased agricultural surplus necessary to feed a population that would double in the 18th century, it also brought disaster to the countryside. Peasant farmers were dispossessed of their land and were now forced to find work in the factories, which began springing up in towns and cities. Q5. What is the main purpose of Document 4? A. To illustrate, show how the enclosure movement made the peasants feel. B. To explain how fertilizers impacted the growth of agriculture in Great Britain in the 1800s. C. To describe the agricultural changes that led to the start of the Industrial Revolution in Great Britain. D. To show why landlords decided to enclose village land in order to increase productivity. Q5, Part 2. In Document 4, the author claims peasant farmers were dispossessed of their land and were now forced to find work in the factories which began springing up in towns and cities. What is the meaning of the word dispossessed in this context? A. Unhappy with. B. Robbed of. C. Fired from. D. Given a second chance. Brief Constructed Response, BCR. You just examined 4 sources that contribute to your understanding of the factors that led to the start of the Industrial Revolution in Great Britain. Using these 4 sources, write a 1-paragraph response to the following writing prompt. You must refer to at least 2 of the documents in your response. Writing prompt. Why did the Industrial Revolution begin in Great Britain around 1750?